that like you and what was it, the Harry Potter one, whichever it was, where they were flying
The
on Fox.
hippogriff.
They were flying
No.
on Fox. It looks like, and that's Fox, folks. FAW, right? In case I had a lateral diphthong or something. Um, so I need to calm down a little bit, but I want to talk about something. First of all, do you like my new
Yeah.
glasses?
I
Okay.
do. I do. I like
Okay.
it. You got the no glare action going.
Good.
I'm feeling it.
And do you
Looks good.
remember in school with someone wear glasses? I didn't wear them till I became sort of an altacocker, an old guy. But what do you call someone, if derogatory?
Four
Yeah.
eyes.
Four eyes. So that's my segue because we went from Biden's border to Biden's
Okay.
betrayal, and we left on Obama and Obama's betrayal. So I want to come back to that because I don't want to talk about four eyes. I want to talk about five eyes.
Mm.
Look up Five Eyes. The Five Eyes is an international um, uh, association. There are 5 countries that share intelligence data. Those 5 countries are
Oh.
the US, the UK, the UK, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. It turns out, and don't believe me, folks, it's now all over the press. As early as 2015, the Obama, I was going to say Biden, the Obama administration asked the other foreign intel agencies to spy on Trump, his people, and the campaign as
Wow.
early as 2015. It's now documented. I can take off my tinfoil hat for this one. This is all over the press. It is now documented. So, what it really tells you is the extent of betrayal and weaponization during the Obama years to A, stay in power, and B, punish their enemies. And again, this is through Brennan. This is before, do you remember the name Ericka Crossfire Hurricane? That was the FBI investigation.
Yep.
This predates Crossfire Hurricane, where they identified a Trump associate. This is, by the way, they say it was Britain that did this, right? Which makes, the whole Steele dossier makes sense. It would come through Britain first, where they basically set up a Trump guy and then they wanted to bump him, not bump him off. But it's one thing to identify them. It's another
Mm.
thing to bump them, meaning you make contact with the actual suspect and pull them in. And they use that for the Trump Russia collusion. So again, let's
Wow.
go to the article, right? So Brennan's alleged identification of Trump associates for surveillance by the Five Eyes Alliance and the directive to, quote, bump or make contact with them illustrates a deliberate strategy to entangle the Trump campaign in a web of suspicion and intrigue. British intelligence began targeting Trump on behalf of American intelligence agencies as early as 2015. This is your
What?
government, folks. Don't believe Robert. So you want to talk about betrayal at the highest level. Look, I think the FBI rank and file are honorable, hardworking, patriotic Americans. I would even argue,
Mm.
perhaps less so at the intelligence agencies at this point, but I don't know for sure. But it's the leadership, right? A fish rots from the head down is an old Italian expression from New Jersey, where I grew up. You have U.S. intel agencies asking foreign intel services to spy on a presidential candidate. If that's not weaponization, if that's not a betrayal of America in a lust for power and money, what
Yeah.
is? What am I
I,
missing here?
I don't think you're missing anything, Robert. This. It's so fun. All I can think of was it
Right? Come on.
Leslie Stahl. Who was it that he was being interviewed by? It was like 60 Minutes or something, wasn't it? And he was like, they
I
spied
thought it
on
was
my
Diane. I
Diane
thought it was
Sawyer.
Diane Sawyer.
That's right. And he's like, they spied on my campaign, and she's like, no,
There's no
no,
proof.
you can't lie. And it's like, and so all of the people who called him crazy and psycho, called people like me a tinfoil hat conspiracy. What is it? What's that
Right.
expression? The difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth is 6 months.
Yeah.
So
But I, for
this
you,
is,
all of these, but for everyone who's listening, you have to think about the gravity of this.
mm,
And for people who, my issue is, we still go back to, the movie Network, where Albert Finney sticks his head out the window and says, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. When are people going to not take it anymore?
I really don't know, Robert. I think that
it's documented. A foreign intel agency spying on it domestically in this country.
It doesn't affect people. They don't think this stuff affects them. And so they just check out. I mean, that's,
you don't think it affects them? Wait a minute.
No,
how much you paying?
I said they don't think it affects them.
How much you paying in the grocery store? Your kid getting a job? What about all the kids that are dying from fentanyl? What about all the people crossing the border? It doesn't affect them?
People are checked out. I mean, this is literally when I go around and talk to the normal, average, everyday American. They do not watch the news. They are not on social media. They don't know that 10,000 people a month died of fentanyl overdoses in 2022. Right. Was that the statistic we looked at? It went from 10,000 a year to 10,000 a month in the course of a couple. And people, Robert, they literally do not know this stuff. I can't count the number of people I've met who all they know is Trump is an evil racist because they saw it somewhere posted.
Yes, he's the bad orange man.
Yeah.
And look, let's be clear. Let's talk about Trump for a second, right? Trump is now going to dust Nikki Haley in South Carolina, and then he's going to wipe the slate on Super Tuesday, which is March 5th. Over at that point, right? Yeah. And as a friend of mine said, short of an act of God, Trump's the nominee, right? Trump is not perfect, right? No president is. I was a big George W. Bush supporter. Some people like him these days, some don't. I stand by the work we did for him, that I did for him. I stand by his presidency, and even he made mistakes. No president is perfect, right? So I don't look at the Trump 4 years of the presidency to say, oh, the guy is perfect and he can do no wrong. And I understand why, sort of that, sort of braggadocio Queen's attitude turns some people off, or God forbid, there's some mean tweets, right? But at the end of the day, who were you doing better under? Where was America more respected? And I would argue feared in the world. Feared's not such a bad thing in international politics, right? Yep. Where was the economy doing better? People are now saying, oh, well, there's this new COVID study that says it's linked to heart disease and other things, and Trump rushed this to market. Okay, we might want to criticize the guy. Okay, there's certainly, it's not a panacea.
But he didn't make it a mandate. He didn't force millions of Americans to do it. Again, I think the thing was not cool. I'm not into the vax. I think that it was. Yeah.
If people want to take the vaccine, let them. If you want to take the vaccine, let them.
That's the thing. Right. I have been a strong proponent for years. If there's experimental procedures that you can do for your health, you are a grown ass person and you get to make whatever decisions you want.
I'm a grown ass person.
Yes, you're a grown ass. You're not. Oh, can we say ass? That's 3 bleeps in a row for
we just did.
One of our listeners, Janice, says, "Who is perfect?" You said, Trump wasn't perfect. She says, "Who is perfect?" That's a great question. Literally, I mean, other than me, obviously, that's an obvious answer.
How about us?
Other than me,
us. Can I get an us here?
No, because I'm a woman. Therefore, I am perfect. If you didn't have that pesky Y chromosome, you'd be okay.
Did that just open up Pandora's box? You're a woman. So wait a minute. Are all women perfect? Come on.
No, only me.
Come on. Let's get into this.
Only me.
We actually may have to bring Lord Benjamin into this because you're. I wonder if your husband would answer that question if you're perfect or not. Now, I know he'll probably say one thing on the air for consumption, but Facebook After Hours or whatever we're calling the show. I got a question for him. But let's go back to our listener and Trump. Look, the question is not whether Trump was perfect. He wasn't. No one is. The question is he the right person at the right time? And I would argue he was, and he should be. You want a president who, look, sometimes in politics, you got to do unpleasant things and make this. Look, can you imagine as a president passing an executive order or making a decision to send our young people off to war in harm's way. I can't think of anything that's harder than that. But you want someone who doesn't do it in a cavalier way to support someone else's borders other than our own first. You want to support other borders, that's fine. Let's get ours in order first. And Trump, I just think, and here's the thing to our listener, someone needs to name for me one policy, one decision, one thing. Let's get all the trappings out of there, the insults and the name calling and the mean tweets. Okay. Name one policy or one thing that Trump decision that he made, whether it was about the border or the pipeline or foreign relations. Let's not forget the Abraham Accords. Let's not forget the normalization with the United Arab Emirates and Israel. Let's not forget those things that Trump was able to do. Name one thing in those 4 years, economy was booming, that people disagree with or want something different.
Oh, well, some of the environmental deregulation people didn't like, and some of it was questionable.
Name one.
I to be honest with you, I can't, because I didn't care. I hate to say that. And I'm a tree hugger. This is the thing.
I'm
people
not a tree hugger.
Robert, I am a total tree hugger, okay? But I also, and further, my sister, one of her degrees is environmental science, and she is a teacher who teaches environmental science.
Is environmental science an oxymoron?
No, not
Just
when
kidding.
It's done by people like my sister, who's not an idiot. Because this is the thing, like, we grew up tree huggers, but I mean, my sister was the one who was like, solar panels do not fix it. EV cars do not fix it. It makes it worse. It's actually more damaging to the environment to create these things. We have to have, it's better, reduce, reuse, recycle, blah, blah, blah.
And by the way, where are you going to get rid of all the electric batteries when you're done with them?
They're not recyclable. They're toxic waste.
They're not recyclable. Growing up, people were worried about nuclear waste.
Now, oh gosh. Oh, get me started about nuclear. Get me started. It has nothing to do with the topic today.
So I want to go back to, we're really about to get you started. Okay. I want to talk under Obama's betrayal, or in this case, Biden's betrayal, or both. Let's go back to January 6th.
Ooh.
So there's now evidence that the FBI, you remember there were pipe bombs outside the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee?
Yeah.
So
that we never heard about.
Yeah, all they're concerned about is going after people who were peacefully protesting, right? But that's a different discussion. So now it turns out, so the FBI sets a task force to find out who did it. They narrowed down the Metro card, the car, and they think they had the guy. And what does the FBI do? Is they pull the guy off of the investigation and have moved it off to the side. So again, let's go. Here we go. So the agent's name is Kyle Seraphin, right? Who is now a whistleblower. And basically they said that they're pursuing January 6th offenders, and their now lax approach to the potential bomber is stark and unsettling. They tracked down the Metro fare card, the license plate, pointing to a retired Air Force Chief Master Sergeant. However, instead of pursuing this hot lead, the FBI pulls Seraphin's team off the case and redirects them to a less critical January 6th lead. Hi, I'm from the government. I'm here to help you.
What did they discover? The person is a leftist or
I don't know.
A CIA agent?
I can only tell you what I know.
We're gonna find the person, and we're not gonna do anything about it.
Well, it's sort of like HERS, the special counsel HERS, that's HUR, not HER. HERS, findings on Joe Biden that he's a kindly old man, but he's not mentally competent
to stand
trial. Therefore, we're not going to pursue him. Well, we don't like the leads of that you're finding on the January 6th bomber or alleged bombs that the guy that planted
attempted bomber.
So attempted bomber. So we're going to pull you off of it. And again, it leads you to believe that A, in my parlance, the fix is in. B, that they don't want to find out who the person was.
Where's my tinfoil hat? Where's my tinfoil hat? I need my tinfoil.
So can you make a note for the next show? We should both have tinfoil hats, because I want to be able to put one on as I go down this, rabbit hole and all this stuff. But I sit here and I read this stuff and I go, and you just sort of go, you can't make most of it up. Most people want to go to work, earn a living for their family, want to know that the government is working for them and not against them. And without, we did that American exceptionalism piece, that there's no fear of government retribution if you speak out against things, right?
Yeah.
And that the narrative that you're being told is the truth. When you doubt that the narrative you're being told is the truth, you sort of go up the down staircase, and you have to go, so if that might not be true, then what is it I believe with certainty? Right. So the real damage here is to the loss of confidence that most of the American public, at least half, the deplorable half, the American public has with its institutions, and that the institutions are working for us and not against us in some sort of elitist cabal where they're more concerned with staying in power than they are of making either making America's life better. And by the way, I don't look to the government to make my life better. I look to the government to leave me alone, right? Leave me alone.
Yes.
I want
please.
freedom. I want liberty. And if I screw up, I'll take my consequences, but I don't want the government to give me fish, so to speak. I would rather give me a fishing pole. Let me get my own fish and just stay the hell out of my way.
That's right. And that's what I think what I think is so interesting. People like you and I, right? Your background is in insurance. You also are somebody who had risk, right? I have a background in accounting, right? We see how the government works. We see what the government does to people. We have an intimate relationship with rules, regulations, regulatory environments.
I'm glad you clarified the intimate relationship we have, just in case someone takes a snippet of this.
No. So if you are a person who has ever had to deal with the government, right? You're in the military, you are on Social Security, or you've been a victim of a crime or a perpetrator of a crime. If you've ever had to deal with the government, you know that they cannot be trusted. You know that it's nonsense. You know that they're liars. You see the corruption. And I think that is why, that is the dividing line, in my opinion, between liberals and conservatives. Conservatives, in my opinion, are people who have had to deal with the government and realize how corrupt the system is, and that they would rather just do by themselves. I'd rather do it on my own because I already see I can't trust you. And but see,
Ericka, I'd rather do it on my own, not because I can't trust you, which may be part of the equation. I want to do it on my own because that's my nature, right? I grew up with two things, John Wayne and The Godfather. That'll tell you everything you need to know about my personality. Most of it, John Wayne, which is a rugged individualism where I, fill the bathtub myself. I got in it myself. I'm perfectly content with the repercussions of my own actions, right? That's what I'm talking about. Different. But anyways, I think we're getting a high sign here.
Yeah, so he's telling us to hurry up and shut up.
Well, he's telling you to hurry up about this whole intimate relationship thing.
Shh. Don't say anything.
Exactly.
Don't tell. You guys, in all seriousness.
Where can they find us, Ericka? Because
y'all, we are on, so you can find Of the People on all of the social medias. So whether it's Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
But it's Of the People with Robert Chernin if you're going to search it out, folks.
That's right.
And we're on Apple's
podcast platform. We're on podcast. We're on all the podcasting platforms. Wherever you get your podcasts, you should be able to find Of the People with Robert Chernin. And what is, we got your Twitter, or excuse me, X.
At
we got our
RB
X
Chernin.
handles.
And maybe if Lord Benjamin can put up that email, it's Robert at coalition, the number 4 America.com. So Robert,
email us
at coalition, the number 4 America.com. Email us. There you go on the bottom of the header.
Yeah.
Ericka, another fun show. Folks, thank you so much for staying with us. This has been fun. We will see you not only next week, but if you stay around, I think we're going to do some after hours.
Yes,
again,
we're going to.
We're going to. A few things I need to talk to Lord Benjamin about.
Okay. Well, I want to thank Janice and Ken for pitching in today, for adding their comments and questions. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you guys move on over get on over to Rumble, because that's where we do our after hours program. Because we can't talk about certain things. We can't have full free speech on YouTube and Facebook. So you can we stay on Twitter too, right, Benjamin?
Yes.
All right. So find us on Twitter or Rumble, you guys. We're about to end the stream on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. So stick with us for just a sec. Do.
So much.